like you need someone to talk to. I just wanna learn a little more about you. Leave them haters on mine, cause all they wanna do is doubt you. I just wanna sing a little bit about you. You can shut me down.
Okay, so we have a very, very special show. I'm going to be doing a live phone interview with actor, comedian, photographer, and production manager Brad Starks, located in Maui. So I'm going to chit-chat and jibber-jabber until we go to our break, and then I will call Brad, and what we're going to do is we're going to go over this new film he's a part of. It's called The Inquisitor. It is an action, suspense, and a thriller film. It's going to be broadcasted, it's being shot at the moment, or about to be shot, in Maui, Hawaii. So it's going to be really, really awesome. So to go briefly over the film, The film is about a millionaire who figures out that after his father passes away, that there is a curse that was placed on his family because of these holy tribal men that were actually murdered by his or by the hands of his grandfather. His grandfather had something to do with it. It's going to be very, very fun, and I can't wait to talk more about it. So let me tell you a little bit about this guy, because we've been friends on Facebook for a little over a year now, and he's been like a mentor. He's been a good friend. He's been kind of like that person to really get your high spirits up. Very, very positive guy, very, very talented. To go over a little bit about his background, he is he has done some photography, as you know, and he did a film, which I'm going to look up right now, that he just completed. It was called The Watch Guard. Really, really awesome. Shucks. I wish I had... Okay, so he sent me a message. Basically, it is Dead Amends, The Watch Guard, which he finished recently, and then shooting in November. So the film Inquisitor has not started yet. It will be starting in November. I don't know if it's beginning, mid, or the ending. So when we get back once we go to visit our sponsors and come back, then we will talk a little bit more about it. Let me just pull up his information so we can go more into detail on Mr. Brad Starks. Give me a second. I've got like the longest email in the world. So for those of you who are interested in finding out a little more about me, if you have a really interesting story and you like to be booked for the show, what you want to do is you want to go to younghanhawaii@gmail.com and send me a message if you have a request, you thought there was something really cool that I touched on, or you have an amazing story that you want to share with me. That would be one way to do it. Another way is if you want to follow me and see all the crazy stuff that I do, you want to go on facebook.com and go in the search engine, and you want to type in Young Han Hawaii. Also, I have a website that is being constructed at the moment and soon to be activated. You can contact me over there as well at younghanhawaii.com, where you can see some interviews of live events that I've been a part of, live events that I'm planning to be going to or participating in the future. And also, I have some original music there that you can check out. So I'm just going to read this, and then we can just kind of reiterate it as we bring him on. So Brad Starks is a world-traveled fashion photographer, filmmaker, comedic actor, visual content creator. He's currently based in Maui and works for a wide range of top clients, both nationally and internationally. That I did not know. So he's originally from Chi-Town, Chicago, and he was drawn towards fashion photography while still in grade school. And after working as a photo assistant for several commercial photographers, he saved up money and moved to Europe. 3 years later, he based himself in New York City and started working with top advertising fashion clients. Some of his fashion clients include Nicole Miller, Emmanuel Ungaro, and Oscar de la Renta. He also worked for advertising clients like Mercedes-Benz and Relativity Media film studios. which is very interesting because if I'm not mistaken, Relativity will actually be doing the remake for Kickboxer or Bloodsport. It's one of the two of the Van Damme movies. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. He has had some advertising work published in the pages of Vogue, Harper Bazaar, and Marie Claire magazines. Gosh, gotta have this guy take my pictures. Okay, let's see. Brad has worked in Japan for 3 years as a creative director with Sony Plaza Style. He was looking for a change of pace, and a photo shoot booking on the island of Maui actually led Brad to uh, find additional avenues of creative expression. While involved in a worldwide promotional contest for a website about.me, Brad and Lena Castles created a video character named Bethesda Jackson that went viral. The Bethesda videos brought in well over 5,000 votes, and Brad's face and brand was advertised on a billboard over Times Square for 3 months. Okay, that's amazing. I've actually been friends with this guy for a little while, and he's really the modest type. So I only recently read this, so it's strange because I'm reading it again for the second time, and now I get to go into detail. Let's see. He began attending a local stand-up comedy open mics to hone his act and timing by telling crazy true stories of his travels around the world, while in the fashion business working with top models. Brad's New York style of comedy was noticed by Hawaii comedy superstar Augie T. Hey, I just ran into Augie at Children and Youth Day Heroes, a really really cool event where they would acknowledge children who had performed a heroic deed, whether actually saving a puppy or actually doing something to improve the environment and the world for the world we live in. Of course, let's see. Brad was actually an opening act for Augie during Augie T's Summer of LOL tour last summer. And once again, shout out to Augie's daughter, whose name slips my mind at the moment, but she just came out with a really, really cool children's book called It's Okay to Be Different. So if you get a chance, look it up on Facebook or Google and it will come up. It's a really, really big thing. Okay, so Brad's skill and use of social media has become his number one way of staying connected with the world through the use of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram takes, and several other social media networks. He effectively markets his own work, comedic point of view, and makes new connections in the film and entertainment industry. He is a much sought after brand creative director and has recently partnered with Maui based geek design firm, shooting portraits. Let's see, sorry. Okay, shooting portraits, fashion, and directing short video commercials to be used on clients' websites. Brad is currently a line producer and actor on a feature film called The Inquisitor, which is what we're going to be going over tonight. I'm very, very excited. Okay, it's set to start principal photography on the island of Maui in, November. Okay, so we're going to go over some fun facts just before we interview him so you feel like you kind of get to know my buddy a little bit better. Okay, so he is a dad. Oh, no, His father, Marshall Starks, was a professional football player for the New York Jets back in 63 and 64, along with Joe Namath. Marshall Starks has a long-standing AFL record for the longest punt return during a game versus Houston Oilers for 97 yards. Whoa. Wow, that's one heck of a kick. That's practically the whole football field. Okay, Brad worked as a creative director slash brand manager for a cosmetic line in Japan for Sony Plaza Style for 4 years. We're going to have a lot of fun talking because the first place that I actually want to visit outside of America is Japan. I have quite a few friends there, particularly in Tokyo, and it's really the fashion and party capital of the world on that side of the world. So it's going to be very interesting to touch on that. And it says, a while back in New York for a photo shoot, the Sandy hurricane hit and flooded the photo studio, canceling 1 month worth of work. Brad found an acting agent and was cast for the now infamous Stronger Than the Storm New York East Coast TV commercials last summer. With the assistance of Lena Castles, Brad began his acting comedy career on the island of Maui and has opened in comedy shows as MC for local comedy legend Augie T and the MACC Theater. Brad is currently represented by ADR Agency. Shout out to Ryan Brown, the owner and manager of ADR Agency. Brad is currently starring as the lead actor in a short film by Maui writer/director Darren Yamamoto called The Watchguard. Okay, so The Watchguard was very, very interesting because it was a very big deal for the island of Maui because that, if not mistaken, that was one of the biggest independent films to actually come out. It's being supported and submitted at international film festivals all over the world. So I salute you, Mr. Yamamoto. I know that you worked very, very hard to do this. I briefly talked to you on Facebook, and I can't wait to see your next project. Okay, let's see. What else do we got here? Oh, wow. Okay, so it looks like the Watchguard and the film Dead Amends is excuse me. It is they were both actually by Darren Yamamoto. Which is, what's interesting is that Darren is very, very recognized on Maui, and when the film actually premiered, I was blown away by the immense support that came from the islands. In fact, while Oahu is really known as kind of like the gem for the Hawaiian Islands to the world, that's usually what most people think of when they think of Hawaii because of Hawaii Five O and Godzilla and Jurassic Park and everything else that's been shot over here. So people really, really have that shot in mind. But at the same, to be fair, Maui has actually been used for a lot of shots, including with Jurassic Park. A lot of people didn't know that. But so the one interesting thing about the film talent here in Hawaii is that we are a lot more like LA, where we do work together, but it's really everybody for themselves, and whatever circle you're cruising in, that's where you're at. Maui is a little bit different because I imagine there's more to prove, and because of that, there's a stronger support system there, in my opinion. Because it's really, really strange because all the actors seem to know each other over there, almost as if they were neighbors living on the same block. But yeah, we are. If you guys are listening right now, I know you're really excited, and unfortunately, we're not going to be having Brad here in the studio. We are going to be doing a live interview, so I hope you're looking forward to it. I know I am too. It's going to be very, very awesome. Let's see. Let's see if there's anything else I can touch on before we get on, because once me and him start flying back and forth, it's going to be nonstop action. And so before we go visit our sponsors, I want to shout out to Hawaii's Finest. As you can see, I got the gold emblem here, and I just went to an event called the Heroes of Aloha. So that is why I am wearing my Batman shirt with the symbol on it. Yes, I know, it's very, very funny, but awesome at the same time, because you got to admit, there's nothing more awesome than the Batman. So anyway, we are going to visit our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Like you need someone to talk to. I just wanna learn a little more about you. Even haters don't mind, 'cause all they wanna do is doubt you. I just wanna sing a little bit about you. Get the chocolate down.
It's Late Nights with Young on Hawaii on KPRP 650 AM. We're broadcasting statewide, streaming globally on KPRP AM650.com. Okay, so we are going to dial out and contact Brad Starks. 1 second. All right, I think we are in business.
Hello.
Hey there, Mr. Brad Starks.
Well, hello there. Is that Young Han? Are you calling me from the bus station again?
Yeah, actually, I was gonna say that this was your chow mein express delivery running late, but this is Young Han Late Nights on KPRP650am.com. What's going on, brother?
Nothing much. Let me start off by saying thank you so much, and congrats on your new show.
Thank you very much, sir.
It's really great to be on the broadcast tonight. Many thanks to KPRP. They've done a great thing and a very smart move by hiring you, my friend. You're a very creative guy in your own right, and it's just great to see you doing so well.
You know what? I really appreciate that, sir. I appreciate that a lot. You know what's crazy for some of the listeners that actually most of us probably wouldn't know this, but before I actually got onto the show, I was well, I had a huge interest and wanted to be a part of the film industry, and I had met you on Facebook.
That's right.
And
That's right.
we actually, I think our mutual friend was actually Lilia Kane.
Yep, that's for sure. All roads lead through Lilia Kane. She is the best.
Yes, a shout out Lily if you're listening right now. Got to get you on the show. But I just want to say before we go on and focus on your highlight of your career, I just want to say I thank you very much for being a good friend. Even though we haven't had a chance to sit in the same room yet, you've really been like a brother. You've always handed out some really good, awesome wisdom and advice, and even gave me a couple leads of film productions that were coming into Hawaii. So I appreciate that to you, sir.
Oh, well, that's no problem. No problem. I mean, I remember when we first started talking, I had just wrapped on like a short film with my friend Darren and Jeff and a small group of friends here that I have on Maui.
Yes, the Watch Guard. I was just talking about that before I called you.
Yeah. Well, this was, I think it was like dead immense because we were just getting ready, I think, to start working on the Watch Guard when you and I started sort of going back and forth. And you sent me, I think it was like a small treatment of something that you were working on, right?
Yeah, it was the Iron Fist.
Iron
Yes, it was,
Fist.
yeah, it was the boxing film. Yes,
Yeah.
it's
yeah,
I had to put it in the back burner only because I felt like I didn't really plan ahead for that project. I knew what I wanted. I was passionate about it, and there were a couple people that were willing to volunteer to help via actors and video production. But I feel, or camera production, I should say. But I feel like it wasn't ready yet, so I had to take a step back and really, really reevaluate what I thought would be necessary for a film production. But anyway, let's touch a little bit more on you. Okay, so currently at the moment you are working on a film. It is it's an indie film shot in Maui, and it's titled The Inquisitor. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, the plot of the film is about it starts sort of like back in the days of like this the Spanish conquistadors, and there's a band of conquistadors that get the local natives to actually show them where a holy treasure is actually hidden. The natives take them there and immediately are massacred and betrayed by these guys.
Okay.
And the shaman curse the captain who runs him through. And then, you fast forward to present day, where his sort of like great his descendant ends up committing suicide.
Right.
And his son is plagued by these nightmares and is trying to figure out, what's happening to him. And he can feel that the same thing, that he's going to be driven mad by these crazy visions that have happened so long ago.
Sure.
He finds out that the answer to solving this whole mystery and dispelling this curse that's been over his family is going to involve him going to Peru and going on this adventure through the jungle, to try to find the roots of it and try to rectify it. So that's what ends up happening. He ends up going sort of like to the forest, and then demonic possession sort of like happens.
Right.
Sequences, yeah. So all these kind of things kind of happen.
So it's kind of basically a generational curse kind of a thing.
Exactly. And it's going to be a really, really great project to work on, and there are a lot of really talented people that are coming over from Los Angeles, and also a supporting cast that is all going to be here on Maui. So we're pulling a lot of strings, we're pulling a lot of favors, and it's a little bit of love and just a lot of hard work. We're really, really looking forward to making this happen.
Oh yeah, it sounds like you're gonna have a lot of elbow grease to put into this project. So, man, I am really excited. And you know what? When this thing is finished, I am coming for the premiere.
Yeah, yeah. Well, man, you'll be the first one to know where we're going to have it and when it's going to happen. Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go and visit our sponsors, and we'll be right back. And then we're gonna touch a little bit more on this. So, for those of you listening, stay tuned. Aloha.
Like you need someone to talk to. I just wanna learn a little more about you. Need them haters on mine, 'cause all they wanna do is doubt you. I just wanna sing a little bit about you. You can shut me down.
Aloha. It's Late Nights with Young Han Hawaii on KPRP 650 AM. And we are broadcasting statewide, and we're streaming live globally on KPRPAM650.com. Okay, so we are back. And we have our special guest of the night, Brad Starks.
Hey there, what's going on?
Okay. So let's touch a little bit more on this film because you have me really, really intrigued. So it's a generational curse. The great grandson has basically inherited this responsibility to figure out the roots of why he's having these nightmares that's affected his plagued his family for so long. Yes.
Yes, this is correct. So,
Okay, so who is the executive producers? Who is the director? Who's the lead man or woman, I should say, on this?
well, what I can tell you that I know for sure is that the director and the executive producer and the writer of the movie itself is Ronald Bloom. This is not his first time around as far as writing is concerned. He's been involved with a couple of other productions, I believe, Disney and like Pixar. He's worked on a couple of things with.
Oh wow!
Yeah, also has like a very he has a very specific interest in medieval sort of like armory, archery is
Okay.
also like a big hobby of his.
So like Robin Hood style archery.
Yeah. But I mean, his knowledge of that just sort of like goes into like super geekdom. That's actually one of the things that we sort of like connected on is, I used to play Dungeons and Dragons like as a kid, like in high school.
Okay. It's a legendary game now. Yes.
Exactly. I was like an athletic sort of jock, but I couldn't get any dates because I was terrified of women. So I used to just hide down in the basement with like some really good friends, and we would just play Dungeons and Dragons literally like all weekend. But yeah, one of my favorite movies is the Conan the Barbarian one with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So that's one of our shared kind of like passions. But so anyway, that's Ron. About back in like July, I guess, Relativity Workshops came to Maui, and they basically teach filmmaking to students, and they have these intensive, immersive workshops. And one of the instructors that came and taught how to edit film, his name is Harry Locke IV, and Harry has worked on a lot of Hollywood projects as an editor, film editor, a colorist, and things like that. He worked on the last X-Men film that came out.
Wait a minute, not the Days of was it Days of Futures Past?
Yeah. He worked on helping piece the film together. If
Oh
I'm
my
not
God!
mistaken, colorizing it. Sort of like color. God, I wish I knew the exact terminology.
No, I know what you mean. He was when they're editing the color to make it look more enticing for the screen.
Yeah, to give it the look and everything. So
whoa.
Harry's also done several like Nike commercials. Just hardworking guy. He's a Chicago boy originally, just like myself.
Okay.
So I got a chance to meet him during like the first day.
Okay.
And we just started talking a little bit, and the following night, Darren Yamamoto, my great friend, who's a filmmaker.
Darren, shout out to you, sir.
Absolutely. So we all, the three of us, went out for dinner,
Okay.
and just through just swapping stories about trying to make films and trying to work with actors and try to get these things off the ground.
The industry, yes.
Yeah, Harry had said that there was a very good possibility that he would be able to shoot and helm this feature film.
Okay.
So he began to tell me about the story, began to tell us about the story, and as soon as he finished it, I was just like, listen, man, you need to make that here. I was like, you need to make that here. Number one, you're not going to be able, I don't care where you go in Los Angeles, you're not going to be able to double, Peru, a Peruvian jungle for like what we have here.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
I was just like, I know some people that I can help, put you in front of.
Sure.
And, you can talk all the nuts and bolts with them, and, they can, give you the answers that I'm pretty sure, you're going to want to hear. So
right.
I just kind of, like as I said that to him, I remember starting to send out, a couple of text messages, and literally he was able to sit down with our film commissioner, Tracy Bennett.
Yes,
and,
Tracy, yes.
Yeah, and just sort of go over some of the things of like what he thought he was going to need. And that's kind of how it happened. I mean, literally like the following evening, he was just like, Brad, he goes, look, I think I'll be back on Maui in another month, and let's just continue to talk. So from that meeting, and I just kind of started to jump into PR mode and just call people that I knew,
right.
who know a lot more about putting a production like this together.
Sure.
And sure enough, a month later, Harry and Ron were back together, and we were walking through locations and stuff like that.
Wow. So what's interesting about the film industry is, in the end, it really is who you know, not so much what you know. Would you agree?
Sure. Well, I mean, I'll do you one better. In the entertainment and or modeling or whatever kind of industry you want to call it, it's not so much who you know, but it's who you know who's willing to say that they know you.
Right. Recognition.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, if I'm going to give your name out to someone, I need to know you well enough to know that you're not going to go in there, you're not going to make me look bad, or,
Sure.
I have to know that you have what it takes to kind of go in and just represent yourself well.
Right.
There's also sort of, that the script that you put together, Iron Fist, it's a great story. Maybe you didn't know sort of like, all the nuts and bolts of how to like sort of like piece things together, but, you have a really great motivation and you have that energy, and people would be willing to work with someone who has that motivation and has got that energy over somebody with a lot of experience who's just horrible to work with.
Right. Quality over quantity.
Exactly. If you've got that enthusiasm, people will really see that in you. They'll think, they'll think, you know what, this is like a new script. Okay, we have to like change this or that, but
right.
This kid's really, I think, got something. So let's try it.
You know what? You've inspired me, because I'm gonna go back home. I'm gonna go to my hard drive and dust it off, connect it to my laptop, and I'm gonna go over it again, because you're the. I knew that you were well connected in the industry, but I didn't know that you were also had the qualities of a line producer. But once I read your background, I really wasn't that surprised, because I seen something really, really awesome that caught my eye, because I have a love for Japan.
Oh.
And yes, and because I have a lot of good friends there from mostly from Tokyo, and I know that it's the fashion and party capital of the world on that side of the world. So how did you end up over there? I mean, I know how you got there, but for our listeners who may or not have heard the story before, how did you end up from America to Japan?
Well, I had a chance meeting with a makeup artist through Craigslist, believe it or not, while I was living in New York.
All right.
And she was looking for someone to work with to kind of help her get her portfolio together.
Sure.
So she set up a meeting, and with her, she brought a really good friend of hers, a guy named Adam Furman, who's now become one of my really good friends. He had put together an idea of a company for her. She was really wanting to get out of the film industry. She was working with Michael Bay on Bad Boys 1 and 2,
Okay.
Big Mama's House. She had like a couple of other films that she was working on, but it literally kept her in a trailer 24/7, and that was, she wanted to do more. She was making great money, but she wanted to do more. She wanted to be more creative.
Right.
So she also wanted to do something positive and something that was different from a lot of the other big makeup brands. So what she and Adam put together was a new brand of makeup using minerals. And unlike a lot of the other mineral lines out there, there were some other secret things that they had kind of going on that just made the product better. They needed a creative director and someone to help them put together images that would then sell the line. So that was where I came in. So so we between sort of like, well, there were more people involved because it took like about a year for them to actually get the money in place and to find the space that we were in.
Right.
We were involved in that for almost a year, and we made a really great connection with Stony Plaza Style. And we met just really, really great people who were associated with that brand out in Japan. And they came into our space, they saw it, and they loved it. They loved what we had to offer. They loved the fact that it wasn't just a makeup brand like a lot of these other makeup brands. We really felt that what we could do that was different from other brands was we could educate our customer.
Sure.
And, build trust that way. We didn't really have, all the money that it takes, like a Revlon or that, but, we really wanted to build trust with the customer.
Okay.
They latched onto the idea and really liked just the dynamic of all of us together. I mean, I'm African-American, originally from Chicago.
Okay.
Adam and Roxanne were both Staten Island. He was, Adam Furman is Jewish. Roxanne, her last name is Rizzo. She was Italian. So when the three of us sat at a table and we're all talking at the same time, it was like watching like a comedy or something like that. So we just brought like a really raw energy to sort of like what it was we did, and they wanted us to bring that to Japan. So that was how we ended up going there for the first time. We were there for about 2 weeks, but we were there on and off building the brand for like about 3 years. So,
wow.
I mean, and if you've ever been there before, I mean, Japan is it's an amazing place to be. I mean, you talk about being in like another world. It's just incredible. And it was just a really great experience to be there as an artist and as a visual person. So I just loved it. I really loved it.
I swore to myself the very first country I would visit if I ever were to leave America for a vacation would definitely be Japan first. As you said, it is like a whole nother world, and it's like, while I've never had a chance to be there, a lot of my friends that are from there, when they describe it, it sounds like it just has like this real like energetic vibe to it. It's almost like New York, where you like no one ever sleeps, kind of a thing.
Yeah, definitely. And then there's just it's a beautiful culture. I mean, architecture, music. I mean, you name it. It's there. I mean, one of the last places I expected to be in while I was in Japan was a salsa dancing club. I was like,
wow.
What?
Okay.
Yeah, and literally the first weekend that I was there, we went to, I forget what the name of the big park is that's there, but they had like a reggae festival there. And, walking around the park with the, Japanese, multi-ethnic, racial mix, it was incredible. It was incredible.
Wow. And on that note, we are going to go visit our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Throw Host Maricayana Aquino, you're listening to the new Pinoy Power Radio on KPRP 650 AM and global video streaming on PinoyPowerMedia.com. Mabuhay!
Di Pinoy Power Radio ket division iti Pinoy Power Media. Kita dati opisina mi ditoy 900 4th Street Mall, 7th floor, Honolulu, Hawaii 96813. Request line 808-526-0650. Ket dugandatyo iti madan iti bukod yung nga programa wenno kayatyo iti agpaiwaragawag iti rental wenno obituary. Tawagan daklaeng iti numero 808-285-0803. Salamat po and mabuhay.
Babalik na tayo dito sa ating programa dito sa KPRP 650 AM and PinoyPowerMedia.com.
Aloha, it's Late Nights with Young Han Hawaii. We are on KPRP 650 AM, broadcasting statewide, and we're streaming live globally on KPRPAM650.com. Okay, so tonight is a very special film industry night, and we have a special guest all the way from Maui, Hawaii, Team Maui, Brad Starks.
Hey, good to be back, man.
Okay, cool. So we were talking a little bit about your experience in Japan. It's interesting because when you're telling me about this, I just want to book a ticket and leave right now. As soon as the show's over, I just want to fly over there and just take a bunch of selfies and come back, in a week or something.
Well, you can do that. And and the hurricane, didn't do any damage to any of the islands. I'm really happy and grateful about that.
Me too.
So.
Yes.
Very good.
Okay, so I wanted to ask, because I'm looking at your background and it's blowing my mind away. How did you get involved with Mercedes-Benz and Harper Bazaar and Marie Claire and Vogue?
Yeah, those were all clients that I got through my photography. I actually am my day job, I guess, is as a photographer.
Okay.
When I was a kid, my mother and my father, loved fashion. GQ magazines were all over the house.
Hey, okay.
Vogue magazine, all that kind of thing when I was a kid. So just looking at those pages really, really got me interested in that world. And by the time I got out of high school, I knew that was really something that I had wanted to do. My father, Marshall Starks,
yes,
played professional football
for the Jets.
So yeah, for the New York Jets. So that was also sort of an idea that I had in the back of my mind. But man, I just kept seeing sort of like all the amazing work of just these great photographers like Richard Avedon, Gordon Parks, Albert Watson, Stephen Meisel, Peter Lindbergh, Annie Leibovitz, Bruce Weber. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And
right.
that just I had pictures that they had done and ad campaigns on my walls, when I was a kid. So that was really something that I really jumped into head first. I did it right as soon as I got out of high school. And, one thing kind of led to another. I mean, I've been really lucky to have so many different mentors, while I was growing up. And then, my parents supported me, so much with wanting to do that. And it was my dad ultimately really pushed me to, move to Europe and, really put my money where my mouth was and,
wow.
See if I could do it. And, luckily, with his size 12 and a half in my behind, and
right.
really being able to meet just some really great friends that I still have to this day. When I got to Spain, I never looked back.
Wow, that is amazing. I took an interest into fashion myself, but I never really went to that point of actually trying to land work. But it's still, I just find it amazing. You actually landed work with like some internationally known companies. That's an achievement in itself, even if you had never became an actor or comedian, and which is another thing. So for our listeners, Brad has actually agreed to do a very rare part 2 interview. So for those of you, because we're already coming to the end of our show, we're not finished yet, but at 10 o'clock, we're going to have part 2, because there's, oh my God, your background is just so crazy. There are some things that you sent me about your background in the industry that I'm saving that I like to talk about because you and Lena Castles, which I will touch on at 10, but you created a character that went viral, and you also received some support on a billboard over in New York, which we're going to touch on too, because that in itself is amazing. But let's touch on this because I know that you, the first time I talked to you, you represented yourself as a comedian first. So you did an opening for Augie T. Now, how did that happen? Because Augie T is like a local hero here in Hawaii.
Oh man, you have no idea. He's my hero. I mean, the guy is just incredible. I'll tell you, through using social media, it just really encourages you to be more of who you are more often.
Sure.
And one of the cool things about it is that right when I was getting started, I was just doing, sort of like open mics and things like that. And I didn't, I had always had a feeling for telling, a funny story or sharing something like at a party over drinks and that kind of like thing. But as far as sort of like fashioning a joke, that takes some more practice. That takes something else. So, I started to use my Facebook page just to try out material, put things together, and then put it out there. And I remember hearing Lena, my girlfriend, told me that Augie was coming into town. I looked up his page, found his Twitter feed, and then we would sort of go back and forth either through Facebook or through Twitter.
Okay.
I'll never forget it. We just started a very simple dialogue, and Darren had a party that came up at Maui Electric. I think it was over at the Grand Wailea, I believe, or the Four Seasons. One of the two.
Okay.
Anyway, Augie flew in to actually entertain.
Wow. Okay.
And I found that out, after I got there. So I sent him a direct message on Twitter, and he was just like, "Oh wow!" He's just like, "All right, listen, man, let's hang out after I do my set." So we hung out, had a couple of drinks, joked back and forth, and just like a really nice meeting, like whatever.
Right.
About 3 or 4 weeks later, after that, I was on my Twitter feed, and I saw Augie had put something on there that he was in Indiana. I'm a Midwestern boy, so I sort of knew where he was, and he was wondering where he could go to get a decent meal of he was looking for sushi or something.
Sure.
And I was like, Augie, man, you need to be careful out there. I was just like,
right.
You do not want to be, walking around there alone. Here's where you can get something to eat. This. And he's just like, oh wow. Hey, listen, man. I've got this. I've got these couple of shows coming up. In maybe 2 months, I'm going to be back in Maui. I want you to open for me. He just asked me, boom, just straight out. And
wow.
I was just like, absolutely.
Yeah,
I will do it. And put down the phone, and I was just like, I have never done that before, but that's not going to stop me. I am going to try it. And then, you go ahead and you start to put, material together, and you try it. And, there's a whole other story behind what actually happened before I got on stage, but
okay.
I really, for the pomp and circumstance that led up to getting actually on stage, Lena came up with one of the funniest promos that I started, just to use and go out and doing, it was the first time I had ever done any radio promos and stuff.
Sure.
And she came up with this thing. She was just like, you're going to hand out pee pads with your picture on it and with Augie's picture on it, because when people come, they're going to laugh so hard, they're going to wet themselves.
Right.
So I was handing out pee pads, and it caught on like wildfire. And,
That is hilarious. When you put two comedians in the same room together, I wish I would actually pay money just to have been there to sit in the room with you and Augie going back and forth. Just because you put two funny people in the same vicinity of each other, it's a party. You already know it's going to be a good time.
This is true.
And I had an opportunity to take a picture with him. I seen him at the Children and Youth Day Heroes event. It was his daughter, who, as you know, she just came out with a children's book called "It's Okay to Be Different." I thought it was really, really awesome. I've been wanting to shout that out a little bit. And so he comes on stage and he does his bit. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, oh my God, I've been watching this guy for a majority of my young life. And he's gotten even more funnier now than he was back then.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Just
Well,
crazy.
I mean, that's the great thing about Augie and about really great artists. Whether you're a painter or you're a comedian or you're an actor or you're a writer,
Right.
is that you allow your life to sort of affect your work. I had never thought I would ever try being a comedian or an actor or any of that stuff.
Sure.
And getting out of New York was actually a really great thing, to have happened to me, just because it really forced me to really expand on my creativity and to really explore a lot of those different facets of my own personality that, the only friends sort of, knew about. So just really grateful to him and to a lot of the other artists that I've met along the way, and just great friends that I still have, worldwide who support me on all the crazy stuff that I do.
Oh, sure. Okay, so I want to touch. I know we're kind of bouncing back and forth, but I noticed that you said that you had not only as a line producer, but you're actually have a part in the film Inquisitor as well.
Yeah, that's right. That is true. I mean, it's just, this is one of those just blessings that you just never see coming, and
Right.
I'm just really excited. I mean, not for the part that I've got in it, but just the chance
To be a part of the whole thing, the
Yeah,
machine.
Yeah, and there's a lot of really great talent that's here on Maui that I don't think a lot of people really know. And that's the really great thing that I'm excited about. So, but yeah, I mean, I've got like a little part, and I don't want to give too much of it away.
Let's not give the gold away. Let's not give the gold away. Let's just give them a little teaser. So.
Exactly, and maybe there's a way in which I can get Ron and I can get Harry to also be on the show.
You don't know exactly.
And you have you talk to them about everything, and they can give you the whole background on how they met, because it's a great story. And this is, like I say, this is going to be one of those projects that's really, I think, going to launch a lot of
careers. Yeah,
a lot of people, a lot
okay.
of careers in front of the camera and also behind.
As you know, because we've always been really close, even though we live on two separate islands, I would be honored to be able to sit down and talk with both of those guys, Lon and Harry, because this project sounds like a really big thing, man. I mean, this is going to be, is this going straight to the theaters or the box office, or is this going to be put in the film festivals?
Well,
maybe a little bit of both.
I from what I understand, I mean, like, I think Harry and Ron are still sort of working on, ways in which they're going to market the film and sort of like distribute it.
Okay.
I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if it ends up at a couple of the film festivals and that. And there are some surprise names that are going to be in the film and working on it. One of the things I gotta say before I forget is that one of the guys who is responsible for us even really being able to get to square one is Branscombe Richmond, who's become a really great friend of mine. Very, very, he's one of the best mentors I think I've ever had. He's sort of a mix between sort of like, I mean, he reminds me a lot of my dad, only with like a different haircut, but I mean, my God.
Okay.
One of these days I'm going to get those two together. But yeah, he has really moved heaven and earth to get things together and in line for this. And we've really come a long way, and it really started to move at breakneck speed once we got him involved in it. And he's got a part in it. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's just really going to be a really, really great, fun project to work on. And I know it's just going to be a great ride. It's going to be a great ride.
Okay, so for any upcoming filmmakers that might be listening to this right now, really important question. Was this film supported by crowdfunding sites, or was this purely, this is like a Hollywood connection kind of a thing?
Ron Bloom actually is has put all the financing together for it. So this is like one of those situations where the executive producer / writer, who came up with the idea for the film, has also independently put together the financing and for the entire project. He and Harry, I believe, met through an actor that Harry used for one of his film shorts called Hellraiser, which is based on the John Constantine character. I don't know if you saw the movie with Keanu
Constantine,
Reeves.
yes, of course. Come on now.
Yeah, it's
Hawaii Zone.
Right. Constantine is also, I guess, going to be like a television series. I forget on which network.
Yeah, I saw it too. They're actually broadcasting it now on the internet through YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks exciting.
Harry shot a short film with the lead actor, and that lead actor knows Ron, and he and Ron are both archery geeks.
Oh no, there it is.
Yeah. So Ron saw the short that Harry did, and then that's how they both kind of got together on it and started talking about it. So, at this very moment, there are a couple of rewrites that are, that are occurring that they're both sort of, talking about, and
Okay.
they're tweaking things, and yeah, it's just a really, it's going to be such a great mix of people, and everybody came together for a reason, so it's exciting.
Wow. So there are some film veterans there. Are there any because then, like I said, we don't want to give away too much of the gold, but just a little tidbit to kind of entice people. Are there any new actors or actresses? Well, technically the proper term is just actor for male and female, but are there any new, just introducing, getting their career for a real shot at a career through this film?
Well, let me see. Okay, so Jennifer Wolski, I'm going to say, who's a Maui native. She's got a part in the film. She's been going back and forth between here and the mainland on and off for like the last 2 years, and has been booking things left and right.
Wow.
Let's see. Jim Oxborough is also going to be. He's also got a part in the film. Jim just recently. Jim is one of the most prolific stage actors here on Maui. I don't think there's been one production that's occurred here on Maui as far as stage is concerned that he hasn't been in. They just recently wrapped on a play. God, the name escapes me. Wait Until Dark, I believe is what it was called. Jim is in it. Cindy Mayo Davis is also got a part in it. Dimitri Rakes, who is an amazing actor, who is also living here on Maui, plays a guy named Carlos, and I don't want to give too much away about his character.
Okay.
Perry Coonan is also going to be, appearing in that. All of these are local actors here on Maui with just lots of talent, and this is, I think, going to help. Yeah, this is going to really help launch them. But I mean, when it comes to Maui, I mean, there's just so many talented actors here. There is a great friend of mine, Robert Angelo, who just put on a talent showcase.
Okay.
And the first 45 minutes to an hour of the show just featured a lot of children actors that are here.
Wow.
And I can't even tell you. I mean, literally, they stole the entire show. With scenes, with two actors in it at the same time, and then that would then go into a monologue, and so you had young kids, doing work that was specifically picked out for them by Robert, and he has an acting program called the Act Now Experience, in which he teaches his students to really immerse themselves in the emotions of the scenes and then use that to present to the audience. And, just a really great program. Obviously, there were adults that are also, they're also in the program as well. And
Okay.
I can't say enough about it. And, he's another guy, I think, is really going to help expose a lot of the talent that's here.
We're gonna go over that a little bit more because we're actually coming to the end of this hour. So, Brad, we're gonna call you back at 10, and we're gonna do a part 2 for this interview.
Looking
So
forward to it.
cool. Okay, so for our listeners, this is the end of the 8 o'clock show, Late Nights with Young Han Hawaii. We'll be back from 10 to midnight, KPRP AM650.com. Oh, yes, sorry. I almost forgot. If you want to follow me and see the type of crazy antics I do, all the events I get into, Facebook.com, Twitter, Instagram, Young Han Hawaii. If you want to email me and say anything crazy, maybe there's something that you thought that I said was really funny, or you want a guest, awesome guest like Brad Starks to come back, send me an email, younghanhawaii@gmail.com. And also don't forget, because I will be posting my events, original music, interviews from the past, present, and upcoming on my new website, currently under construction, www.younghanhawaii.com. Thank you very much for tuning in. Aloha.
Someone to talk to. I just want to learn a little more about you. Them haters don't mind, 'cause all they want to do is doubt you. I just want to sing a little bit about you. You can shut me down.
We are live streaming globally on KPRP AM650.com. Okay. So we are back for the second part of my third show, Late Nights with Young Han Hawaii. We had a special guest, Brad Starks, who is a comedian, actor, photographer, and line producer for the upcoming film to be shot in Maui, Hawaii, The Inquisitor. Okay, so before I call him, there is some things I want to go over in the 8 o'clock show. So we were talking about his background, where he came from, being that he's from Chicago and also represents New York, how he had actually made it over to Europe and Japan. He's worked with Mary Claire. I want to say GQ, but it's not it's GQ. But he's worked with companies like Mary Claire. He's worked with Mercedes-Benz. He's done some really, really cool stuff with, I think it was like the Sony Plaza Style, which is actually located in Japan. He had actually did some, if I'm not mistaken, a creative director work as a photographer for a mineral-based makeup company out in Japan, and that's really where he got a lot of his start. So what we're going to do is we are going to call him and continue our interview. Let's see. Finally, we got the man online, Brad Starks.
I'm here. Aloha, everybody. How are you?
Okay, so we are great. Thank you so much. I was just telling you before we went on air, this is really cool because I think I might actually be the one and only DJ to ever do a double interview here on KPRP 650.
Oh, look at that. We're breaking exciting new ground.
Yes, we are. And the first night of doing a show, I'm doing an interview with you. It's awesome.
Well, thanks again for having me on. It's a privilege, and we don't go back a long way, but we've talked a little bit. We've become friends, through being online. So, I'm really I feel lucky to be here. Before we go any further, there's one thing I just wanted to say. You were running down, I think, like a list of some of the people that I had gotten a chance to work for and some of my, like magazines and that kind of thing.
Yes.
Oscar de la Renta, unfortunately, passed away today. And I just wanted to just sort of put a, positive word about him. He's just a very, very elegant gentleman who is and was and will always be one of the top fashion icons in the world. I shot a couple of lookbooks and some work with the showroom in New York. They are really good people. I know that they are going to continue to move on and continue to do good work under his name. But I can't say enough about just what a great guy he was, and just an elegant guy. And you just don't really see guys like him around like that anymore. I mean, I wish that there were more people like that. But I just wanted to, I didn't want to go any further and be on air without kind of recognizing him and just saying what a great guy he was.
No, you know what? I really do appreciate that. In fact, there is one person I like to shout out to. She wasn't necessarily a part of the film industry. She was on Hawaii News Now. Unfortunately, there was a passing about I think a little over a month ago. They announced that her name was Chanel Moku. She was a mother, and she had a very unfortunate story. Because we're a family show, I don't really want to go into too much graphic detail, but I just want to say shout out to Chanel Moku. You are loved and missed, and I know you're in heaven looking over all of us. And okay, so let's go a little bit more personal. I know we touched a lot about your career, but okay, let's talk about your dad.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so he actually, if I'm not mistaken, he holds some AFL records at the moment.
Yeah, my father has a standing AFC record for punt return, and
it was 97 yards, right?
97 yards.
That's crazy, yards. Brother.
Yeah, against the Houston Oilers, I believe it is. Is that right? I always forget.
That was it. That was the one.
Yeah, that's Dad's work. He grew up as a kid, always loving, wanting to play football. And he told me this story where he would, he'd walk to school every day, and he would get to this open field, and he would put his books down, and he would pretend that he was running back a kickoff for a touchdown. And he would basically go through it every single day before he got to school.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, just incredible. And he's still around. I'm sort of I don't want to make it sound like, he's not around anymore.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. I feel like you're reminiscing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he is a great guy. I've learned a lot from him, and just a real character. If it's possible to get his story down in a screenplay and try to find someone to play him, that would be incredible. Or maybe the thing to do is maybe just do a documentary on him.
That might, you might actually be the one to play him, though.
Oh,
because you know him better than.
I know him, but I don't think I can even come close.
Well, that's very modest of you to say that, sir. So you did say that your mom and dad influenced you in the fashion world. Tell me a little bit, tell all of us a little bit about Mom, if you don't mind. Just, if you don't want to go too into it, if you don't want to.
Yeah, sure. My mom and my dad are two anomalies, really. I mean, you have my father, who was not only into football and sports, but also loved to write poetry. My mom obviously loved poetry.
Okay.
She was the artistic one. She played the piano. She sings. Both of them are absolutely two of the funniest people that you'll ever meet in your life. Of my family, I mean, it's myself, my mom, my dad, and my eldest sister, Dana. I would have to say my sister is probably the funniest person I know.
Okay.
If the four of us are together during a holiday or literally just a family gathering or something,
sure,
we're literally nonstop. I mean, somebody says one thing that's funny and then that feeds onto another thing.
So it's like a laugh riot then.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Completely. So, yeah, I was really lucky that way, and that's kind of what I'm used to sort of growing up around. So, naturally, I just took a lot of that energy and a lot of that gregariousness that I learned just from being at home and just brought that into whatever I was doing.
Okay. Hey, Igwe, let's ask. I want to know a little bit more about New York. 'Cause I love New York. How much of the influence there do you feel like you apply when you're working on projects as an artist?
Every single thing. I mean, as an artist and a visual person, if you're a creative person and you have the opportunity to go to New York, you got to do it, because it's one of those places where you can feel the creative energy that's there. I mean, just standing on the street, getting ready to cross the street, you can really feel, the energy that flows through that place. Any international city, you can get that feel. You're going to meet people from different places and learn different things just from being around them and from, conversing with them. But New York is really that place that, like the song says, it's a city that never sleeps. You can recreate yourself there literally every other week if you need to.
Wow.
And it's normal. I mean, it just really is. It's it can from the outside looking in, it can be intimidating. But once you get there and you start to connect with people, and that's really what the creative business, whether it's entertainment or whether you're a plumber, if you know how to talk to people, if you know how to deal with people and connect with them, you're going to do well at whatever you do. And that's really what New York is like.
So let me ask you something. You know how I just want to go more because I think rap has painted like a picture, or I would say rap and hip hop or music in general has painted kind of like a picture of New York of being like this cutthroat place where, you really have to look over your shoulders all the time. Do you feel like that's very accurate, or do you feel like that's just kind of a perspective of somebody in certain parts of the city?
Well, like any art form, I mean, it changes and it bends and it metamorphosizes into different colors depending on when it's being made. If you look at when hip-hop was created back in the day,
right,
it's completely changed.
Right, yes.
Look at somebody like Jay-Z.
Sure.
Who has completely revolutionized what rap can be and what a producer who produces that kind of sound can do. If you told me back in '84 that rappers were going to be associated with some of the biggest luxury lines, on the market today, I would have said you were crazy.
Right, yeah.
It was something that started in the street.
Right.
But very much like a lot of music that comes not only out of black culture, but comes out of Latin culture, and that comes from cultures who, aren't entitled, those things start to change and those things come in vogue. And when you have artists who actually use that medium and can speak intellectually about the human condition, that crosses all lines. And obviously then those things start to become popular in, circles that you would never have thought. I mean, that's one of the things that's so interesting about brand building and what's really going on today with like social media, is that it's revolutionized the way information is shared and how, you can create a rap song. I mean, I know that you write and you've done things. You can create a rap song today, you can put it out online, and somebody in Japan can hear it. Somebody in, Kiev can hear it. Somebody in Ukraine can hear that, and they can pass that around. That's what sort of, creativity is like. It moves so quickly, and it can change,
Practically the whole world can experience it at the same time because of the modern technology we got.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's an exciting time. I mean, if you'd have told somebody back in the 1940s that, you could do a double interview in one night and then have it live streamed, they'd be like, what are you talking about?
Right. Hey, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to visit our sponsors and we'll be right back.
Sounds good.
All right, aloha.
It's Norma Santos programming eternally every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. here at KPRP Radio, Pinoy Power.
Are you fed up with your bank paying you less than 1% on your savings account or paying you just 2 to 3% on your 5-year CD? All the while, the bank is using your money to get 10, 12, or even 14% return? If you are, John would like just 15 minutes of your time to show you the strategy banks are using to make thousands, even millions on your hard-earned money. Call John Tito Mahal Anderson at 808-285-3234 for a free consultation on growing your wealth or increasing your monthly income tenfold. Yes, John still makes house calls, or you may come to his office at 905 Umi Street, Suite 202. Again, call 808-285-3234. 285-3234. Leave your name and number and he'll call you back within an hour.
Babalik na tayo dito sa ating programa dito sa KPRP 650 AM and PinoyPowerMedia.com.
Aloha, it's Late Nights with Young Han Hawaii on KPRP 650 AM. We're broadcasting statewide and we're streaming live globally on KPRPAM650.com. Okay, so we are at the second half of the second interview with Brad Starks.
Hey.
Okay, so we were talking a little bit about hip-hop and how it's been influenced all over the world, and especially with modern technology today. That's really why the whole world can hear it now. In fact, there's something I want to add to what you were saying was that there's actually in every country, every major country in the world, there is a representative of hip hop music. I was just made aware of this recently. It kind of blew my mind away. I was watching this movie about KRS-One. It was called 20 years in the hip hop movement or something like that. It was really awesome.
All right. I'm not familiar with that one, but no, I mean, I totally agree with you. I mean, if there's one art form that took the world by storm, it was hip hop and rap. I mean, I still remember the day that Sugar Hill Gang, Rapper's Delight, came out.
Right.
And I mean, I grew up in I went to junior high in a white suburb. So as soon as I heard white kids just getting every single lyric wrong.
I like how you emphasize that they did wrong. I like that.
Yeah, they got every single lyric to that song wrong. I mean, I knew, it was here to stay. I mean,
I gotcha. Yeah, you remember a Wedding Singer, right?
Sure.
You remember that one part where the grandma that was that Adam Sandler's character was teaching her how to sing?
Oh yeah.
And then she gets on the mic, the hip hop. The hip. I was like, oh my God, Grandma is throwing down right now, and she's doing Rapper's Delight while she's doing it. That's crazy.
But it's like one of those songs. I mean, like where everybody really loved it, and it just caught on. Another song that I've seen elderly people sing verbatim and get out of their seats or get out of their walkers or wheelchairs.
Right.
Was Hey Ya. Remember that?
Oh my God! You know what? I still listen to Hey Ya, Outkast.
Man, in a minute. I mean, I will rock that song.
But what's funny is that because that one part where they start shaking the photograph and whatnot, shake it like a photograph picture. It's weird because I always remember that image in my head. I always picture the girl like dancing and like shaking the photograph like it's a fan or something. It was really, really awesome. It really stood in my mind. In fact. Okay, so how do you feel about modern music? Because there are some artists that kind of almost try to follow the Andre 3000 Big Boy style of music. Is there any like modern artists that you like right now?
Well,
that motivates you.
One of the guys, I mean, we mentioned Jay-Z, obviously. I mean, he and Beyonce are just like, at the top of their game.
Oh yeah, they keep reinventing themselves all the time.
Yeah, constantly going up. Pharrell Williams, to me, is the modern Renaissance man. He is involved in the art scene. He is involved in podcasting. He has an amazing series where he discusses art.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. I mean, he has an incredible store in Japan. It's called the Ice Cream Shop, where he sells original artwork that he's done, and then he'll bring in like the likes of like a Jeff Koons, just like these masterminds and like just masters at what they do in the art industry and just across the board. The Happy song that he came out with was a viral hit to the point where people were just making their own versions of that, and that spread worldwide.
There's a Filipino version out right now.
Is that right? You should post that. You should post that. Like
I
on
will.
Your wall,
I'll post it tonight. I know. It was so funny. The first time I saw it, I started laughing my butt off. I'm like, oh my God, this song's really kind of a hit. But, you know that, did you know that song Blurred Lines was actually written by, or co-written anyways, by Pharrell Williams?
Oh, yeah. I'm not surprised. I mean,
when I heard Happy Feet, I was like, oh, okay, so that's the direction that he's going with that. Very,
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what?
He's a master.
How do you feel about like artists like Lamar, Kendrick Lamar from LA? What do you think about him?
You know what? I've had my head so far in film and sort of working with different people here, literally like the last year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
If something comes on the radio and I listen to it, it's
Right.
by chance. So I'm not really that familiar with his work to really make any comment on it. I mean, he must be popular because I know you know your stuff.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't
this-
really know his work that much.
No, that's okay. Because the thing is, he's an upstart. He was one of those sensations that came out of nowhere. The reason he was recognized because without any radio play or support, he got concerts locked down in LA and New York. So it's kind of like I guess it's kind of a thing. They called him the King of New York. I kind of had to like roll my eyes because I think like Notorious B.I.G. will always be the King of New York, or Jay-Z. One of the guys that actually earned their spot. I'm not saying that Kendrick didn't. Okay, but anyways, I don't want to focus too much on that. So what inspires you? What kind of art? Obviously, you do photography, and I know that you respect like the old school music and even some of the newer stuff. But like, what drives you? What inspires you to want to pick your camera up and just take a picture? Because it's not always a scenery. A lot of times it could just be like something you heard, something you felt.
That's true. I mean, creativity can, take a lot of different forms, and you're basically telling a story when it comes to creativity. You're going to create something, and then you want to present that to an audience or, just for yourself,
Sure.
and, present that. One of the great things about photography is that, when being involved with fashion and advertising and that kind of like thing, I enjoy that because you're basically trying to tell a story to sell something for a client.
Right.
And that takes a team of people, makeup artist, hair person, clothing stylist, all these kind of like components. And being the photographer, you're hired to put that vision together and then to convey that through a single image that then, the client will use. As of late, I mean, I've always been interested in film. I've always been a huge, film fanatic and, love The Godfather and all these great films and like television shows. True Detective, I can't say enough great things about. I'm really looking forward to like the next season.
Okay.
But I have to say that, the people that inspire me, I'm really lucky. I've got a lot of really talented friends who are more talented than I am. Dan Yamamoto, Emmy Award-winning Jess Craven. He's going to laugh when I say that, but I mean, he's got to get some new business cards. I'm putting that out there.
Okay.
There is a great friend of mine who I've come to know through Facebook. His name is Brad Watanabe. Excuse me, Brad Watanabe. Try
Yes.
to say that 5 times fast. He's won numerous awards for his filmmaking. He's based on Oahu. Mason Rose, who's a very talented fashion shooter as well, is also based on Oahu. It's a great work. Brian Cohen, Jeffrey Thomas, Stephen Schaefer, Josh Meredith, who's here on Maui making a great comedy film on his own dime called Bacon Flavored Girlfriend. Our friend Lilia Kane is also working on that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, who else? Let's see. Jess Cole, who is a cinematographer who's based on Oahu. Harry Locke IV, obviously, who's working on Inquisitor. Jay Coughlin, who is a fantastic writer and also a filmmaker here on Maui. And then there's a kid that I met whose last name I cannot pronounce. His name is Ashton. And
Okay.
I met him, I think Ashton might be 15 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about mega talented and
Child
someone
star.
who could- yeah, I mean, he is going to be a great filmmaker. I would love to send you a link of some of his stuff.
No,
and you
please
can see
do.
what he did. Oh my gosh! I mean, this guy, I don't know. I mean, really, really talented. And like I say, he's maybe 14 or 15 years old.
Okay, so let me ask you something. With the Watch Guard that's already out, and you have the Inquisitor that's soon to come on, I know there's a sling of projects that you worked on, and there's not enough time in the show to share them all, but if any of the listeners want to actually go and watch this and see your work? Is there a particular site that they can go to?
Let's see. Darren Yamamoto's Facebook page is Element Pictures, and that's on Facebook.
Okay.
If they go to my website, bradstarks.net, which is my website for acting, all of those pieces are there.
Okay.
They'll also get a chance to see some of like the Bethesda Jackson stuff that you were talking about earlier.
Yes, Bethesda. Let's touch a little bit on that because we're
Sure.
and let's just do it in 1 minute. What could you say about Bethesda?
Bethesda Jackson was a video character that I created along with the help of Lena Castles. We were trying to come up with an idea to win this contest, to have my face up on this billboard. And I, at first, wanted to kind of do all these voices over the course of like 2 months. Lena, who's a lot smarter than me, she was just like, no, let's do this. Let's come up with a character that you come up with, and then I'll shoot, and then we'll continue with that. And just the visual spectacle of you being that character, people will want to share that. And she was right. And,
And you had your billboard support. You were featured in the Times Square, right?
Yeah. It was up in Times Square for a couple of months.
That's amazing.
They ran it as an ad and things, but
that's amazing.
That's one of those perfect situations that illustrates that if you're a creative person, it's always good to have someone who can sort of step outside of your creative process and be like, okay, this is what you want to do, but here's the methodical way of how we should do that. And that's
I like that, the outside approach.
Yeah, I mean, you can, everybody who is successful has to have a team. I'm very, very lucky. A lot of the people that I've mentioned, not only like during this segment of this show, but the last show, those are people that I can talk to and I can ask and I can get their opinions and they can chime in. And, having someone like that to be able to say, okay, you know what, Young, let's do this. Let's have you lay that down. Now I'm going to take it and I'm going to do my thing. And, you need to have a team of smart people around you. So I'm lucky and I'm blessed to be associated with a lot of the folks that I've talked about today.
I actually 100% agree with you, but I know someone who 200% agree with you. She is to my left, and that is Sunny Aloha. Why don't you go say hi to our friend?
Hi, thank you for being a guest.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Anytime. I hope to get you guys over here, on Maui. And, it's my pleasure. I'm really excited about the program. You got a great guy there who's hosting the show. He's wearing a Batman shirt. I've already told him I'm a huge Batman fan, so we hit it off.
Oh, you are welcome. I picked it out.
Yeah, she makes me wear these crazy outfits for the show. So this is one of them, which is, we went to a We Are a Batman event the other day for Aloha Heroes. And anyway, but, I really appreciate that, man. You're like my brother from a distance. And I really feel, even though we haven't had many, many years of friendship, I really feel almost like in a sense we have. Because I learned so much about the business through you. And even tonight, I just learned a whole lot more about you that I didn't know before. So I feel like I'm even more closer with you now than I was before.
Well, thanks again. I mean, man, talking to you is very easy. I'm really excited that you're on this show and that you're doing your thing. And I mean, it's a win-win. I'm just really happy to see you there doing well, and it's all positive, man.
So what I want to do is I want to ask you: are there any? I know you. Let's go over a couple things before we. So we're at the end of the show. Are there any final shout outs that you want to do, or possibly let's go over maybe different websites or social medias that people can find you at? Because I'm pretty sure the listeners after that are going to want to see what you do and what you look like and all that good stuff.
Sure. I continue to work with startup brands and doing photography for people who are in the industry. My photography work can be found at www.bradstarks.com. As far as shout-outs, I'd actually like to thank some people in the film industry who I feel are doing outstanding work as far as getting the word out to the world that Hawaii is here and that people need to come and shoot here. Tracy Bennett, who is Maui Film Commissioner here on Maui. Let's see, Mayor Alan Arakawa, who is our acting mayor here on Maui. State Representatives Justin Woodson and State Representative Angus McKelvey are both great supporters of the film industry. Donnie Dawson, I don't think is thanked enough. She is the State Film Commissioner of Hawaii.
Yes.
She gave an incredible, in-depth PBS interview about the film industry, tax incentives, and all that.
I remember that. Yeah, you remember you're promoting that.
Oh man, it's a textbook rundown of what's available and what's coming, and she does a great job. I think that people need to, really think about, shooting their projects here. And then, any young filmmakers that are out there, I really hope that the state of Hawaii, really starts to put together some kind of program that really empowers young filmmakers or people who want to become production assistants and things like that. I think a program like that would be fantastic.
You know what? I don't think there's enough time. We're going to have to put you on like a part 3 and part 4 very, very soon for the show and bring you back, sir, because you've got way too much information. In fact, what I'm going to say for the listeners, if you want to find a little bit more about Brad, because I'm going to put links up to his films, The Watch Guard with Darren Yamamoto on my Facebook. So go on Facebook.com and look under Young Han Hawaii. I'm going to post it tonight just because Brad is really inspiring me. And also look for me on Instagram and Twitter, Young Han Hawaii. I have a new website coming out, younghanhawaii.com. And if you want to request a song, if there's a question that you have for one of my guests, what I want you to do is text me at 808-202-0043. And it's going to be really awesome. So, Brad, I'm so sorry. We're already kind of going over time here. But I'm going to talk story with you maybe a little later tonight or tomorrow. And thank you again for being on the show, man.
My pleasure. I really enjoyed it. Thanks again.
Of course. And for our listeners, I will be back every Monday, 10 to 11, Late Nights with Young Han, KPRP, 650 AM. We are broadcasting statewide, and we're streaming live globally on KPRPAM650.com. Thank you very much.
Smiling for me, my heart beats like crazy. But not on my brain, it's so insane. Serenade you, girl, every night. So blow me a kiss, do it like this, blow me away. You're looking like you need someone to talk to. I just wanna learn more about you. Haters don't mind, 'cause all they wanna do is stop you. I just wanna sing a little bit about you.